Welcome to our council meeting of November the 3rd. This hybrid meeting is being held in person here in council chambers and electronically in accordance with section 238 subsection 3.3 of the Municipal Act and section 16.6.24 of the City of Woodstock Procedure Bylaw. This meeting is being live streamed to the city's YouTube channel, and a recording will be posted on the city's website following the meeting. The meeting will also be broadcast on Rogers TV. An agenda of the meeting can be found on the agendas, meetings, and minutes page of the city website. Councilors attending virtually will be raising their hands in view of their webcam when moving a motion, requesting to speak, and when a vote is being taken. If a member of council is disconnected or having technical difficulties, we will take a recess in order to attempt to rectify the issue. If technical difficulties exist that prevent the meeting from continuing, the meeting will be adjourned and reconvened at a later time. If a councilor attending virtually intends to leave the meeting at any time, they are requested to inform the clerk. And Councillor Accioni will be reading the resolutions today. There's no closed session and disclosure of conflict of interest. I have a conflict. I, Acting Mayor Connie Lauder, declare the following potential direct pecuniary interest. Agenda number new business 17A regarding additional remuneration for the acting mayor. This resolution is requesting that council provide the position of acting mayor with additional monetary compensation for the time that the mayor has stepped aside from his duties. I currently hold the position of acting mayor and as such have directed the pecuniary interest in the matter. As a result of this conflict of interest, I will ask that Councillor Talbot assume the chair while the matter is being discussed as voted on. Councillor Petter put forth the following motion for council's consideration under new business, and that will be looked at when we reach the new business portion of the meeting. So our first delegation, just a minute, minutes. The minutes of the meeting from October 20th, Councillor Accioni.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Talbot, that the minute of the regular meeting of Woodstock City Council held on October 20th, 2022 be adopted.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I'll call the vote on that. All in favor? Thank you. That's unanimous. And there's no additions to the agenda, and we'll move on to the first delegation. David and Karen Murray and Irene Tiggs, Oxford Helps Ukraine Assistance request in locating new facility. Would you like to come forward, please?
Hi, I'm Irene Teagues, actually, and this is David Murray. Thank you for the opportunity to share our current need in putting us on your agenda today. On March 2nd, as the city raised the Ukrainian flag, we asked for donations for Ukraine. At that time, we had a free air carrier that was taking items to Ukraine directly at no charge, and they were taking to the armed forces and the Ukrainian people. They took non-perishable foods, medical supplies, sleeping bags, and new clothing, especially warm undergarments for the soldiers. When the plea went out to this community, the response was totally overwhelming. We drove over 12 trucks and carloads to Waterloo, where things were packaged and sent to the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Toronto and then shipped to Ukraine. I did packaging in Waterloo. I also went to the Ukrainian Cultural Center to do my few days there. So I was quite aware of the whole process, and things were being shipped. Within a month, though, the carrier said they wouldn't take any more items. So we had over 480 bags. I stopped counting after 480 bags of donations from this community. Used clothing, toys, and other items that we couldn't send. So our focus changed to helping. At the same time, actually, Ukrainians were coming here. So our focus changed to helping the new Ukrainians settling in Oxford. We needed storage, so I had no idea where we're going to put this. So we appealed to Mr. Ross Bond at the Main Street Storage, and he very generously gave us space for the past 7 months. He likely didn't expect us to stay that long when he offered us a space. But over those 7 months, we've helped over 50 Ukrainian families with hygiene products, clothing, diapers, toys, school supplies for children. We also, with the plea from the immigration department, we also helped an Afghanistan family that helped our troops with translating. So I helped that family as well. People come to our warehouse, but they have to come by appointment only. They have to call us, make an appointment time, and then come. So the only people coming in are actually Ukrainians and legitimate, so to speak. Ukrainians were only able to bring one suitcase when they come. Many came from bomb shelters, and they told me they weren't even able to access their money from their bank accounts. So they struggled to even get money to come for flights to Canada. As you know, they're not classified as refugees, so they don't have the support of the government for dental care and other medical things for that first year that they're here. So they just have a work permit. As their needs changed, many families returned to the warehouse. We saw some families as many as 5 times as their needs changed over the period of time. For example, they came for summer clothing, and then more recently, winter clothing, warm coats and boots. And as they found jobs, they needed clothing for work. I don't know how many black t-shirts went out the door to people working at Toyota Bushuku. And as they moved out of their host families, they also tended to pick up bedding, towels, and kitchen supplies. Unfortunately, the issue that we present today is to circumstances beyond Mr. Bond's control, we need to vacate the premises. So, but the needs are still great, and we still have a lot of donations left. We are also continuing to get new families into the area as families move out. Hosts are actually some of the hosts are taking on additional new families, so it's growing. I know the companies in the city are still looking for new employees. Some of them have contacted me and asked if you've got any Ukrainians that are looking for work, please let us know. And so, and Ukrainians are quite aware. There were some Ukrainians out in the East Coast, right, that saw that we had job openings in the area and wanted to come to this area. And I'm aware that over 50 Ukrainians from London commute daily to Toyota Bushuku to work as well. I've appealed to companies. I've contacted many companies in the city, and I've contacted churches, but we can't find a new space to continue to support this need. Thus, I've come to this city council to ask for your help in locating a new home for our warehouse so we can continue to help these Ukrainian immigrants who are working in our community and contributing to our economy. And Dave's going to share with you some of the places where they are working.
So right now, sorry, I'll switch. So right now we have approximately 100 Ukrainians hired at Toyota Bushuku. As we said, there's 50 families here in Oxford County. Many of them have settled into the Woodstock area. Besides Toyota Bushuku, we have POW, UTEC, Food Basics, Tim Hortons, Aiden Footwork, Shoppers Drug Mart, BDK Group, Legend Rubber, and ArcelorMittal. These companies have all hired and are looking to hire more Ukrainians. Other employers that we have looking for right now are SAF Holland, Selfer Group, Haas Enterprise, Norwich Deli, Tirecraft, Carver Cabinetry, and WRC Purifying. We have a company outside of Oxford County, Titan Trailers. They have had 8 families stay in the Delhi area. They have set them up with housing and have set them up with their own vehicle to get to the places they need. So those are just some of the companies that have really helped out in Woodstock, and we're really appreciative that they've done so much.
And I've appealed to some of those companies, but they too are looking for storage space and can't help.
So
Thank
go ahead.
you. Is there anything else that
No,
you'd like
if you
to?
have any questions,
Yes.
would be
I'll just
quite willing
ask,
to
are there any questions through to the Councillor Accioni?
Thank you. Through the chair, I suppose to either one of you. How much space are you looking for? Are we looking like a 10 by 10 to 20 by 20?
At
Perhaps
least
around-
20 by 20. We occupy now a huge room that I would say is over 20 by 20 plus a few other little rooms. But because we have kitchen stuff, we have bedding, we have clothing, we have boot shoes, a lot. But 20 by 20 would be like, yes, a minimal space.
We do have, like, the people of Oxford County have actually contacted us with larger supplies such as beds or furniture and that. We've asked them, until the families start to move out, just hold on if you can, because we don't have the warehouse. They're not allowing us to take any of that furniture there. So as we see fit, a family is going to move, the calls go out, and we start moving that furniture to those new places.
And we have furniture in many barns and garages around.
Are there any other questions? Councillor Schadenberg?
Just gonna ask from the chair through to our delegation, what sort of financial resources would you have to be able to rent any space, whether it be from the city or?
We have no financial
community.
resources.
Yeah, we don't really have any financial resources. We have a small fund that we've collected money for, but it's more to help people with emergency medical needs, like insulin for
Right.
a diabetic, or we help people with some dental health.
And those costs they have to be a shared cost as well. We won't give them all of the money. We have a delegation of about 6 people that we make a decision on how much they get. We have had to help somebody, a young girl that needed a little extra money to get a flight here to Canada to this area, and we helped out her. So the donations of monetary value have not come in, and that's fine. But any money, we've either put it in Bethlehem Lutheran Church, and we meet with them on a monthly basis on how we're going to disperse any funds.
It's a separate fund.
Yes,
Like it doesn't go, the only reason it went through the church is when people were making huge donations, they did want to get some copies, to get a tax receipt. So that's what we use them, but it's a completely separate fund from the church fund.
Are there any other questions? I'm going to ask the CIO. He has maybe some information.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Anticipating the question, staff did look into potential opportunities that the city has that could meet these needs. And, for the most part, we don't have surplus space available. The exception would be the former Woodstock Hydro building on Graham Street. It is largely vacant. It is, it's secure. Garage door, bay doors, so easy movement of goods and materials. I guess the issue with that is we have council direction to put that property up for sale, and we will be doing so shortly. We did not do it as of yet, knowing that council was subject to the restricted acts of the municipal act, so there was no action that could be taken at this time, but that will soon be resolved. So we would anticipate a sale of the property sometime next year. So any solution that we would be able to look into further would be temporary and perhaps could be extended depending on who buys it and their willingness to allow it to continue. But the bigger issue is that any agreement that we would enter into for temporary storage, whether it's free or not, it is almost a certainty that our insurer, Intact Insurance, will provide a number of requirements for us to meet. They will expect us to obtain indemnification for personal injury associated with any of these activities. They'll expect us to obtain indemnification for any damages to the goods that could be attributed to the fault of the city as landlord. Now, the issue is I don't know whether or not you are a legal entity. And obtaining such indemnification could only occur if you were under some umbrella and you had some legal status as some organization
Mhm.
incorporated. And if that is not the case, if you can't come under the umbrella of church or some other insurable entity, you will probably find difficulty anywhere you go looking for this type of request,
Mhm.
whether it's private sector or public sector. And if that is the case, then it is likely your best bet to pursue a commercial storage unit and seek donations to offset those costs, if that is the situation that you face.
Yeah, currently, we're not in any organization. So I know that the insurance became the issue also at the bond storage because of the stairs, people going up and down and bringing down boxes. And so it's their insurance company that's actually asking us to leave because there's no elevator. Yeah, we got in 7 months, we managed to do it, but the insurance company became an issue.
Are there any questions, Counselor Achioni?
Not really a question, just if we were able to find some finances for you through donations with businesses and everything else, would they then have space for you, or would that still fall under the same insurance?
No,
Issues then.
no, because we're on an upper level. I don't know if you've ever been into the Main Street storage, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
stairs and we are carrying down boxes of things, and it became an issue for getting insurance liability because there's no elevator there.
How about, if I may continue, going to another location then? Have you spoken to other locations to get an idea for cost, what it would cost for you to have something like that? And then maybe we can
In the
reach
beginning,
out
when
to the community.
Okay, in the beginning, when we were looking for storage, with another storage company, it was only like a 10 by 10, but they were gonna charge us, between $200 and $300 a month for storage.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Counselor Talbot?
Thank you, the chair, through to the delegation. Any of the churches in the community, I mean, a lot of the older ones have big basements
Yeah.
and staff, is there any possibility there?
We've been through 4 churches so far, and I'm still in the process of appealing to churches, so that's ongoing. We have another lady that's helping us as well, contact some of the churches, so that's ongoing. We were told we didn't have to be out till the end of December. Then the insurance company came in and they said the end of November. And then it's very complicated.
This week.
It's this week now. Well, next week we have to, the date it was a moving target. And so that's why the pressure's on us right now. So we had more time, so we hadn't pursued. I have contacted, Toyota Bushiku, I think every company that Hydemec, I talked to Hydemec, I talked to many companies to see if they had space, and they're all looking for storage. So now we started on to churches. So,
The other thing is, you may know of somebody that might have a storage, then that might be able to help us out as well.
Hmm.
So
because we know you. Counselors
there's
have good
lots of contacts.
I like the contacts in these.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Thank you
time.
for your time. Yeah.
And our next delegation is Joanne Batowski and Rubelin Smith, and they're coming in virtually.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, we can.
Good afternoon. My name is Rubelin Smith, Vice President for Zonta Club of Woodstock and Chair of the Advocacy Committee. Zonta International is an organization of professional women empowering women and girls globally and locally through service and advocacy. With me this afternoon is Joanna Pietkowski, Violence Against Women Community Liaison with Ingema Homes. Today, we are here to represent the Domestic Assault Resource Team of Oxford County, or what we call DART. DART agencies are the first responders to violent acts in our county. We know anybody can be abused, no matter their background, identity, or circumstance. But women, girls, and gender diverse people are a higher risk of gender-based violence. It can take physical and emotional forms such as hitting, stalking, criminal harassment, strangulation, rape, sexual assault, control, and manipulation. Some higher risk are due to the additional discrimination and barriers they face. Many forms of this abuse are against the law, but did you know that people facing abuse may not have access to services that meet their needs? Last year's council gave us the opportunity to introduce our cause to the community. Thank you. We felt the support, but a lot has happened since then, and we truly believe we have more work to do to further educate, provide awareness, and get our new community leaders to set an example with helping us end gender-based violence. Research shows that those living in rural environments are at 50% more at risk of experiencing abuse than those living in urban cities. This is often due to fewer resources, supports, and they also face many other accessibility challenges. Zonta and DART have been working in partnership on the Global Zonta Says No campaign for the past 9 years during the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Now, more than ever, it is essential for our community to work together to end violence against women, girls, and trans folks. Our campaign would like to bring awareness to this issue and advocate on behalf of gender-based violence survivors.
As Rublin mentioned, my name is Joanna Pietkowski, and I am the VAW Community Liaison at Ingama Homes, as well as lead the collaborative DART group. November is Women Abuse Prevention Month, and while Zonta displays orange to raise awareness about the realities of violence against women, shelters and advocates across Ontario have been wearing and displaying purple scarves to signify support for survivors of gender-based violence. This month, we will be launching a campaign called Here and Now, which speaks to the realities that gender-based violence happens here and it is happening now. This campaign will provide us with the opportunity to highlight the realities that exist within Oxford County and raise some much needed funds for prevention and education. Gender-based violence is an often invisible issue, and many women and gender diverse individuals may not be aware of the services that are available in their communities. Together with the Zonta Says No campaign, DART seeks your support in raising awareness of the realities of gender-based violence. Rublin and I see the value in partnering with the City of Woodstock to raise awareness of the resources and supports available to women in the Friendly City and Oxford County. With the Council's permission, we would like to invite you to our flag raising event scheduled for Thursday, November 24th at 10 a.m. at Museum Square. We would also like to extend an invitation to you all for Tuesday, December 6th at the Courthouse for the National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women. We will be hosting a candlelit vigil in remembrance of the violence and misogyny that shook our country to its core. Our goal is to create awareness in a safe and supportive manner while promoting both campaigns and honoring Woodstock's rural roots. Together, we want to thank you for your time today. We welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions through to the delegation? Hearing none, we'll have a resolution coming forward shortly. So I'll go back to the first delegation. Could I have a motion on the first delegation on the Ukraine request? Councillor Talbot.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council receive the request for space for donated items for Ukrainian families and other refugees as information.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Accioni. Is there any discussion on this motion? Councillor Accioni.
Thank you. Through the chair, I just want to thank the presenters. I never did that. Thank you so much for what you're doing for those that need it. They really are coming here with virtually nothing. So I apologize for not mentioning that earlier, but thank you so much.
Any other discussion? Councillor Talbot.
Thanks, Chair. I just want to say this is an excellent opportunity for the community to be aware of the needs that are out there, especially by this group that is working so hard to help Ukrainian families. So hopefully through the telecast of the council meeting, people will be aware, and maybe there'll be someone out there. They can always contact City Hall, and we can always contact Karen or David too. So and Irene, so that to pass any information forward. But this is a very generous community, so I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't someone out there that can help them.
Thank you. Councillor Petter.
Yeah, through the chair, I just want to echo what Counselor Talbot just said, and I also want to give you a little advice and put the strong arm on those companies that are getting that good labor. Just keep after them and say, hey, you want a labor supply? Let's come up with some storage.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Thank you. I'll call the vote on that. All in favor? Thank you. That's unanimous. And the next delegation is the Women's Abuse Prevention Month flag raising event. Could I have a motion on that, please? Councillor Accioni and a seconder, Councillor Tate. Go ahead.
Thank you. Moved by myself that Woodstock City Council receive the presentation from the Zonta Club of Woodstock and Domestic Abuse Services, Oxford, regarding Women Abuse Prevention Month and the 16 days of activism as information. And I thank them for their presentation.
Thank you. Is there any questions or Councillor Schattenberg?
Yeah, from the chair to the delegation, I guess maybe in particular Joanna Piatkowski, because she was did an excellent job during the election campaign, discussing the issues of DART and the domestic assault that within the community to sort of gauge and meet, particularly with all the candidates that were running for municipal seats. So she did a great job contacting us and making sure that their issue was at the forefront of people's minds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Thank you. I'll call the question on that. All in favor? Thank you. That's unanimous. Then we move on to the Downtown Woodstock BIA request for 3-hour parking. Could I have a resolution, please? Councillor Talbot.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council authorize the increase of free parking in the area of the downtown Woodstock BIA from 2 hours to 3 hours for the month of December 2022.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Petter. And all in favor? Are there any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Thank you. That's passed unanimously. Now move on to the confirming bylaw. Could I have a motion on that, please? Councillor Talbot.
Move that Woodstock City Council refer the confirming bylaw to the bylaw section of the meeting.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Schattenberg. Are there any questions on that? Okay, I'll call the motion. All in favor? Thank you. That's passed unanimously. And so now we move on to new business, and I will be leaving the chair, and I'll ask Councillor Talbot to come forward, please.
Thank you, Acting Mayor Lauder. I'll go to new business. Councillor Petter, would you like to read your motion, please?
Yes, I would. Thank you very much. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Schattenberg, whereas Councillor Connie Lauder was appointed at the January 13th, 2022 regular council meeting as the council member to serve as the acting mayor when the mayor is absent, is unable to act, refuses to act, or when the office of the mayor is vacant. And whereas Councillor Lauder has been requested to temporarily act in the place of the mayor and has been assuming this role since February 22nd, 2022. And whereas the request has significantly increased Councillor Lauder's workload and required time commitments, now therefore be it resolved that Woodstock City Council provide an additional monthly remuneration of $3,000 to Councillor Lauder for such time that she has been requested to serve as the acting mayor, retroactive to February 22nd, 2022, and that the funds be drawn from the reserve for salaries and wages.
Thank you, Councillor Petter. Did you have any comments as well, please?
Yes, I do again. Obviously, I think you're going to find this council is in full support of this motion. Councillor Lauder has a heavy workload at the best of times when she's simply doing her counselor job. To take on all the role of the mayor for this long a time is unbelievable, but that's Connie. She can pull it off somehow. It would be nice if the mayor returned some of his salary to take care of this and the city didn't have to pay for it, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So I think this motion is necessary to fulfill Connie and all the work she did. Normally, when you're filling in as deputy mayor, you might go to a ribbon cutting ceremony and you might make a little speech when somebody's sick or whatever. This has been pretty well 10 months of hell, probably. Because something that this city hasn't seen before for these kind of circumstances. So anyway, hopefully we pass this motion.
Thank you, Counselor Petter. Counselor Schadenberg, did you have a comment?
Yes, I did. I'm one of those people that like to follow things at the Woodstock Museum and see some of the listings of former mayors and street namings, parks and all that sort of stuff. But it's interesting to note that the city of Woodstock has only had in its history 3 women mayors, which is unfortunate in itself that there hasn't been more. But Bernadette Smith, Wendy Calder, and Margaret Munnick. I think somewhere along the line we need an asterisk to put in there that Connie Lauder was actually the 4th woman to be a mayor in the city of Woodstock for her efforts. And I think a lot of people sometimes forget that it's not only what happens here at city council, what happens across the street at county council to have to fill in for the mayor, the number of times she's had to go through their 300 and 400 page agendas sometimes to be able to understand everything that's going on there, which is at the chair right now that Sandra Talbot has certainly seen, and Deb Tate to my right has certainly seen a lot of times, but to be able to jump in sometimes at maybe 4 or 5 days notice to say, okay, nope, you're going to this Wednesday's council meeting and to jump in the way Connie has. And I think one thing people sometimes maybe forget or maybe have forgotten is that back on September 6th, her brother Melvin passed away, and on September 11th, she had her brother Tom pass away. So during that whole stretch of time, she had 2 brothers pass away within a 5-day time period. And she could have easily just sort of taken her binder, thrown it in the air and said, okay, that's it. Sandra, you do this, or Deb, you do this, but she didn't. She kept on going. And I think she really deserves to be honored that way. And I asked her on the phone about maybe the most memorable moment of her in the 1 year acting as mayor. And she said it was attending Al Badger's 100th birthday party at the Legion, that she really enjoyed representing the city of Woodstock on that occasion. And so there's good that comes with the difficult tenure and timetable. Thanks.
Counselor Tate?
Through the chair, yes, I'll fully support your motion. Another thing that people I don't think realize, the small portion of our job is at these council meetings. It's all the preparation, and I think Connie sat on 6 separate committees and not simple ones. So she spent a lot of time in. The other thing I didn't realize until Connie was doing the job, all the events that our previous mayor was invited to wasn't attending, and there was a lot of work that Connie had to do. Councillor Accioni will find out, but it's a lot of work, and fully appreciate you bringing this forward.
Thank you, Counselor Tate. Counselor Accioni?
Now that I've had a glimpse of the workload in this last couple of weeks, of course, since the election, it is actually mind blowing how much work is actually involved. And to think of all the boards, committees she sits on is simply amazing. Forgetting the fact, of course, the county council aspect and everything else she does. So I am 100% in support of this. I think she has gone way above and beyond. I couldn't be prouder as a fellow counselor, the work she has done and really proven herself, and it would be an asset in the next 4 years. And knowing her experience there, I'm sure I'm going to be leaning on her after all this as well. So Connie, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. If there's no further comments, I just want to echo everybody's sentiments. Connie has done an amazing job. She is definitely dedicated herself, and I don't think she refused to go to very many things. She was the face of Woodstock for the past 10 months, and we thank her for her efforts. So seeing that, and there's no further comments, I'll have the call for the vote, please. And that vote is unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next is our draft bylaws. Counselor Accioni.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Counselor Talbot, that the following bylaw be given a first and second reading. 9555-22, a bylaw to adopt and confirm all actions and proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Woodstock during the period December 10th, 2021 to November 3rd, 2022.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I'll call the motion on that. All in favor? Thank you. We'll have the third reading. Counselor Accioni.
Moved by myself and seconded by Counselor Talbot, that the following bylaw be given a third and final reading, 9555-22.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I'll call the motion. All in favor? Thank you. That's passed. So we move on to addresses and questions. So I'll start with Counselor Tate.
I guess just two comments to our fellow counselors leaving. First to Counselor Petter. Thank you very much for filling in. It's a difficult role, as the new people will find out. We're very thankful that you had the experience when you came, and we will miss your humor greatly. I'm sure I'll see you around in the grocery store like I usually run into you, but it's been a pleasure again to work with you, and we'll miss you. Counselor Talbot, I'm gonna keep it short. We go back a long way. Counselor Talbot and I worked together. She actually filled in for my maternity leave with my youngest and worked together. So I remember going to your house for some of your elections before I was on council. You'll be greatly missed. Your experience will be missed. You are, we didn't always agree, but that's why we have all these different people elected. But we always stayed civil and stayed friends outside of council. So we'll miss you. The community will miss you greatly. They'll miss your experience. And thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Schadenberg.
Yeah, I also want to thank Mr. Petter for his time here on council. I got to know Todd a little bit when I was coaching his son Lee in baseball, and that was what, 5 years ago or 6 years ago? No, it's a lot longer ago than that. So I didn't really know Todd that well when even when he was on council. It's not like we talked to on a regular basis when he was on the previous term of council before I was first elected. So it's great to recognize Todd and wish him well and his best. As for Sandra Talbot, was it 1988, I believe, was the first year she was elected to council. And there's several areas where hopefully we're not going to miss her. For example, I know the Woodstock Actives baseball team still needs a catcher. Oh, it's called the behind, not called the catcher. Okay. I did talk to Murray Coulter on the phone yesterday, and he said that you were a catcher. And what they really admired about Sandra Talbot on the Actives, which was the 1860s replica baseball team representing the city of Woodstock, is it was always easy to find players for the home games on July 1st, but not necessarily to find players for the away games on July 4th back in Sylvania, Ohio against the ever mighty Great Swamp Frogs. But they said, but this is Murray Coulter talking, that Sandra was always enthusiastic to take the road trip to Sylvania and represent the city of Woodstock for those ball games. And she's been on the BIA board. She's a former deputy warden of Oxford County and so many other things she's been involved with. And maybe she'll continue to do play-by-play with Brad Jansen now that you're both sort of retired from the city of Woodstock for Santa Claus parades on Rogers TV. And a couple of things I wanted to mention. This weekend is a Silver Stick minor hockey tournament under 14 and under 16. In the city of Woodstock, there was a couple of tournaments 2 weekends ago that were younger age groups. So it's the older age groups now. And I also want to pass along a nice positive note from Dan Binns. He's with the Woodstock Scout Troop number 7, Boy Scouts. And he's also on our Woodstock Environment Advisory Committee, if you know the name Dan Binns. But what's interesting is his troop went to the museum last night, and Carrie Gill was quote unquote the amazing educator that really did an incredible presentation about the things in the Woodstock Museum for for the Woodstock Scout Troop number 7, that's based at Knox Presbyterian Church. So I want to give a big thumbs up to Carrie Gill too.
Thank you. I'm going to skip you right now, Counselor Petter, and I'm going to go to Counselor Accioni so that Sandra and you can have the last words here before me, of course.
Thank you so much. Counselor Petter, we started together, started our counselor career together, and I'll never forget that first term. We did have a lot of fun. Getting to know you, as I had heard of you before, but I'd never really gotten to know you until then. And you have always been who you are, and I've loved that. You've always told us what you think, what you thought, if we wanted to hear it or not. You were always that, and I've always said I respected you for that. So thank you for being you. Thank you for stepping in when we asked you to, when the opportunity rest in peace, arose, and you stepped in for some big shoes. Yeah, for Councillor Fraser, of course. Just thank you. That's what the city needed. You stepped up. You've been here ever since. So just thank you. Okay, you will be missed, or I'll see you around. Try not to get emotional here. Jeez. Of course, Councillor Talbot, 32 and a half years as a city councillor for the city of Woodstock. What do you say to that? Most people don't work that long. Yeah, goodbye. I don't know if it'll be a happy retirement, if you're actually going to stop working or not, or what you're going to be involved with, but whatever you do, I wish you extremely well. I've always appreciated our conversations over the years. You've always been very honest with me. I thank you for that. You've always did what you said you were going to do, and I've always respected you for that as well. And I just wish you very well, and I hope the city realizes for lack of a better word, the sacrifices councillors make with our family lives and work lives and everything else. This is a commitment, and I hope the community, when you see Councillor Petter, but also Councillor Tao, when you see them in the community, please thank them for us. Okay, this is a lifestyle. This is something that our heart's in it for all the right reasons, and I just want to say thank you. Okay. And I hope to see everybody at the Cenotaph on Remembrance Day, of course, next Friday. Before I forget that one as well, but I'll pass now. Thank you.
So Counselor Petter.
Thank you, Connie. Last meeting, I thanked everybody because I didn't know about this meeting. You never know if you're ever going to make your last meeting. This is my second last meeting. I did a last meeting in 2018. I thought I was done, but things change. You always have to be ready to adapt. I thank this council for asking me to do it. It was a great honor. Ron did so much for the city, and I really feel honored to have filled in for him for that short amount of time. I can't thank myself, so I guess I better just jump over to Sandy. Sandy and I have known each other for a long time. When we got elected, actually, I asked Deb and Sandy whether or not I should even run. And both of them said yes. Why, I don't know. It's been hell, but anyway. Sandy, the first year that Councillor Shafton and I were on, we went to London to go to a ceremony honoring people that have achieved 25 years in municipal politics. I guess that's what it was. I don't even know. It was so long ago, and I'm sure I was drinking during the ceremony. So, but I barely remember it. Anyway, she was 25 years ago. That was in 2015. That's insane. And normally I would say, what are you, 90? But I can't be mean today because this is your final meeting. That means way more than half of your life you've been in municipal politics. That is bizarre. And I can't think of, what was the mayor, Helen, whatever her name was. I don't know maybe you're second to her as far as Hazel, right? Hazel, Hurricane Hazel. So anyway, Sandy, I appreciated all your guidance through the term and a half that I was on council. You always gave me a straight answer. You were fun to chum around with. I gave you a hard time more than most, only because we know each other so long and I felt like I could get away with it. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. Counselor Talbot.
I'm going to keep this really short. Thank you for all your kind words and thank you for that. I just want to say thank you to all of the staff that I have had the privilege of working with in 32 and a half years. And we were kind of reminiscing before the meeting started. I started before David started. And that was, he told me that was even before he became deputy engineer. So that was a long time ago. I can even remember I was telling him what car he was driving at the time. I want to thank all the different colleagues I have had over the years. There are a lot that are no longer with us, but there's still lots that are. It's been an incredible journey and one that I won't forget, one my family won't forget, because you don't do this journey by yourself. Your family is a part of it as well too. And we never realize the pressure. It's not hardship, but how it affects them as well. It's not just you sitting in this chair. They're involved in it as well. So it's been a great ride. Thank you so much. I'll see you all in a different light. Just sitting back. I still have one more meeting at the county next Wednesday, and we got informed that we're still on duty till the 14th. But it definitely has been a pleasure, and I want to wish everybody newly elected in their new positions going forward nothing but the best of luck. I hope you make the decisions that need to be made going forward to keep this community as wonderful as it is, because we are so blessed to have Woodstock and Oxford County. We're very fortunate. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. So first I'll give my announcement and then this Saturday, November the 5th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., the Woodstock Art Gallery will be hosting its fall open house to celebrate its new round of exhibitions. There will be tours and talks starting every hour. Admission is free and everyone is welcome to attend. I want to thank you, Councillor Talbot, for the years of service to the City of Woodstock and to Oxford County. I think that you babysat my children at some point. So that's just a few years ago, not that long ago. During my 15 years on council, you were there for me as a great mentor. You will be greatly missed. I know with planning applications, you always made sure that they didn't cut down any of the trees, and I have the same interest that you do, so I will try and carry that on. I do wish you lots of enjoyment going forward, and this will give you more time to spend with your grandchildren, your 3 grandchildren, and maybe you can even start playing bridge again, because we need spares sometimes. So get in lots of traveling and enjoy your time with everyone. So, and lots of golf. So I just have one thing that I would like to present to you.
You are going to make me cry. I wasn't going to.
On behalf of council, just here for your years of service. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Now, Counselor Petter, what can I say? I want to thank you for stepping up to the call when we lost, at the time when we lost Counselor Fraser. You always brought a sense of humor in question and answer period, but had the clerk to the point of ordering a mute button with a few of your comments. I'm sure she was ready. You will be missed. I wish you all the best. Now you can spend your winters in the sunny south. Thank you for your service, and we're glad that you stepped up to the plate. I would like to thank City Council and staff for the support you've provided me with throughout this term, especially over the last 8 months since I took over the duties of mayor in my position of acting mayor. A special thanks to our clerk, Amy, and our CIO, David Creary. You were there for me when I required direction over these months. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you at Remembrance Day on November the 11th at the Cenotaph. Thank you. And now I'll call for an adjournment. Councillor Petter, the last, and Councillor Talbot, all in favor. Thank you.
Heather, I'm sorry I didn't